WWE Evolution is going to be their main event of the weekend, and if you're looking at ticket sales, it is not necessarily being treated as such. As this one, I think they've done a pretty good job of building it up, but it is just something that is lost in the sauce in what is an absurdly busy weekend for this company. When you look at how they are trying to counter AEW on Saturday, also I believe it's a Beyonce concert that is in the area, so people are occupied over a summer weekend in Atlanta. So it is unfortunate that this one kind of ends up being a bit of an afterthought, because I think it's a pretty good card. Let's run through it. JC Jane against Jordynne Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. We've said for a bit that the Jordynne Grace full-time run in NXT has been a little bit underwhelming so far. The timing of it was really off because she comes in at the same time as Stephanie Vaquer and as Julia. And so you just have two mega stars who kind of overshadow her a little bit. They're on the main roster now. Now is the time that Jordynne Grace gets the opportunity to show that she is a main eventer and to kind of have this division be hers for a little bit. I think she ends up getting the win over JC Jane at Evolution and gets kind of this crowning moment. Battle Royal for a World Championship match at Clash in Paris. I think Nikki Bella probably gets it here. I know that probably wasn't initially the plan when she was going to go into this thing with Liv Morgan, but I think that she is the big name, wants to go to Paris, so why not put her in the championship match? I will say Nikki Bella is the one who gets the win in the Battle Royal. Otherwise, like, the hope for me is Stephanie Vaquer, who is absolutely ready for a championship opportunity. Could totally see it, too. But I feel like Nikki Bella is probably the one that they will go with. Just a quick aside on Stephanie Vaquer, because they've had all these things to kind of build up with, she has become a bit of an afterthought. Like, she popped up on NXT this week. I was like, oh yeah, haven't heard that music in a bit. So hopefully now that they only have one show to promote, Stephanie gets the airtime that she deserves because she is a superstar. Tag team titles on the line. Judgment Day taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, taking on Sol Ruca and Zarya, taking on the Kabuki Warriors. I think this match is going to be fun as hell. I think there are so many different moving parts in it. I could see them going with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss as this, like, get Charlotte on both brands. You have the, oh man, maybe these people don't get along sort of a team, but also with what is going on with Charlotte right now, where she has the Players Tribune piece where she was incredibly vulnerable about how difficult the WrestleMania build was. And with her going on Undertaker's podcast and everything like that, I feel like there is an attempt to get people behind her. And I think teaming up with Alexa Bliss, I think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had with that. And so I think that they are probably going to win the tag team titles there. My initial thought was Judgment Day keeps it because I feel like the Roxanne Raquel tag team thing can build into a very effective jealousy angle with Liv Morgan, but I just think the Charlotte Alexa Bliss feud maybe ties into it a little bit more. Jade Cargill against Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. The important part of this is Jade looking good. She has the championship opportunity at SummerSlam, and so you want her to feel like she is a big deal. And you do not get that by having her lose to Naomi. So it sucks to have Naomi get this Money in the Bank win and now get another loss against Jade, but Jade is the project. Jade is the potential superstar. Not that Naomi isn't, but right now, that is the view of Jade. So she probably gets the win here to look strong going in to SummerSlam. Intercontinental title on the line. Becky against Bayley against Lyra in a triple threat match for the IC Championship. This match is going to be fun as hell. I cannot wait to see the in-ring masterpiece that these three are able to put on in this match. In terms of who wins it, I could see them going back to Lyra and continuing to build her up in that way. Because you could say, like, Bayley doesn't need it. Becky doesn't need it. Honestly, all three of them, I can see, like, you can make a compelling case that Becky is just kind of getting going with this Intercontinental Championship, and she is the one who can kind of help bring a little bit more prestige to this belt. Bayley, add another championship to her resume and kind of solidify her as one of the best of all time sort of thing. And like I said with Lyra, it is a young prospect who feels like has a lot of the pieces to be a star. They just haven't all come together for her just yet. in kind of talking it out, I feel like it's going to be Bayley. I think Bayley probably gets the win, and you can do a Bayley against Becky thing again for the IC title at SummerSlam. That feels like a SummerSlam thing, and this kind of heel turn that we're seeing from Valkyria, I think that will continue coming out of this one. Then our two main championship matches, as Tiffany Stratton takes on Trish Stratus for the women's WWE Championship. When Tiffany introduced Trish as the challenger, I think there was a bit of a from the crowd, which sucks because Trish, all-time legend, GOAT, all those things. But this is very similar to the Goldberg thing. Now, Trish, better in-ring performer, all of those things. But I don't think the crowd is super into nostalgia acts getting championship opportunities. That being said, I think this is going to be a fine match. And the one thing I will say, and I have been saying, is if you want Tiffany to continue in this babyface lane, I think you need Trish with her. Because this is the first time that Tiffany has been this type of a character in this company. Trish is perfect at it, and is kind of the blueprint they are trying to use for Tiffany Stratton. I think having Trish there as a manager, sometimes tag team partner, someone who can get physical in these sorts of things, I think that would be good to add some likability to this character going into a Jade Cargill feud going into SummerSlam. So I said it going into WrestleMania. I will say it again. I wish they would keep these two together. And then in what I presume to be the main event, it'll be IYO SKY taking on Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. I was asked on our lengthy Twitch stream yesterday, who is kind of your favorite performer right now? It is IYO SKY. That being said, I think this ends up being Rhea's spotlight night. They view her as kind of the top in the company. Not that IYO isn't. I think that she has really greatly improved her standing in this company. But I think Rhea feels like she is kind of the big deal and the superstar and kind of the face of the women's division. And I think having that be the spotlight coming out of Evolution and kind of the closing moment, I think would be very, very important for her and would be kind of a big moment for the company in pushing towards SummerSlam. So I think Rhea Ripley ends up getting the job done and will win the Women's World Championship coming out of Evolution.